Monterey's Cooking Pisto style is brought to you by the Monterey County Vintners and Growers Association.
Hi, welcome to Monterey's Cooking. I'm John Pisto. Guest today, Joe Cavanaugh. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show.
The opportunity, John.
Really, been waiting to do this show for such a long time. Timing was right. Today, I was down the wharf this morning, and I saw Joe. I said, "Come on, let's do this show with us." He says, "Absolutely." Folks, Joe Cavanaugh, very, very interesting man. Joe, tell him. Why don't you tell me who you are and what you do? And geez, you have a couple of degrees, and you do a bunch of stuff.
I do. One of the things I do is I'm an abalone farmer, and this is a rare vocation. Not many people are abalone farmers, but the reason I got into abalone farming is because in the wild, they're so over-harvested now, and there's so much pressure on the fishery that farming them has become a new industry in California. There are about 10 farms. Our farm here in the Monterey Harbor, we use these barrels to grow the abalone. The barrels contain about maybe 100, 150 abalone. And the idea is that the barrels contain the abalone, and then once a week we go out and we harvest kelp, which is what the abalone eat. Put the kelp inside the barrels, the abalone eat it.
Wow.
The next week we do the same thing.
Okay, now who else likes to eat abalone besides us?
Well, the Asian market is really the big market, you know. California people know about abalone, but over in the Pacific Rim, that's where it's really famous, and that's where people really love it.
I had a recipe that somebody gave me, a Chinese friend of mine, Dan Lee, of cooking abalone for 8 hours in chicken broth and then slicing it. He says that's probably the best way to eat abalone.
Boy, not from my perspective, but Hong Kong, it's a big thing in Hong Kong. If you want to go out in Hong Kong and have a big night, spend a grand or so for dinner,
no kidding.
That's the way they do it.
But you know what? Maybe we should tell people what abalone are, because a lot of people don't even know. What we have in front of us is abalone. Okay, these are the shells. Look at it. I mean, from little tiny baby.
Yeah, these guys are about a year old, and they grow about an inch a year, so I brought along a number of different sizes showing how they grow. You can always tell a red abalone because the red abalone has 4 holes in the shell. So these guys have 4 holes, which is very characteristic of the red abalone, which is considered the Cadillac of abalones because, number one, it's the California variety. Monterey was the center of the red abalone fishery for many years, millions of pounds.
Wow.
I know where I live over in New Monterey, our yard is full of abalone shells. The people put them in the gardens, put them in the walls.
That's right. I've got some here, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue our abalone show with Joe Cavanaugh. Abalone cakes growing. I know they're very slow growing. Maybe you can explain it to the folks.
Yeah, this abalone shell, John, was probably harvested from the wild. It's about 7 inches long. You have to have 7 inches to commercially harvest the abalone, or 7 3/4 inches. The ones that we grow in the farm grow about an inch a year, and that's the maximum that they can grow. That's when they're being fed every week and taken care of really well. This abalone could be about 15 years old, 15 or 20 years old. And that's why they're expensive.
Jeez.
These guys right here, the 3 or 4 inches, they're about 4 or 5 years old. And this granddaddy that we grew from scratch, we started in 1992.
Oh my God.
It's 1998 now. It's 6 years old.
My God. Folks, I really want you to take a good look at these. Look how beautiful these are. Now, these also can grow a pearl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
abalone pearls.
Yeah, it's called mother of pearl in general. It's very highly prized in the Far East. And some of us who have abalone farms are actually experimenting with doing a cultured pearl inside the abalone.
Wow, good idea.
Yeah.
Jesus, but isn't that gorgeous?
And they're beautiful. You know, abalone shells that have pearls in them, John?
Yes.
They're worth $300 or $400 a piece.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We should tell the people. Abalone, folks, is very expensive. Now, in my restaurant, we sell it. It's now selling for a pound. Geez, what is it selling for? About $50 to $65 a pound now?
For the meat, yeah.
Yes, for the meat only.
Meat only, and sometimes it'll go up to $80 a pound.
A pound, folks. We're talking a pound. This is expensive
Most
stuff.
restaurants serve one of these size abalone for about $16, $17, $18, and then an entree will be 3 of them, and they'll sell $50, $55.
Yep. And of course, anything that's this expensive is also, they say it's an aphrodisiac. So you get your money's worth.
It's also very good tasting. It kind of tastes like, I think,
it's delicious.
Yeah, a cross between like lobster and veal and that white meat.
I tell you, Joe, when I was a kid, I'd go with my dad, and we'd go to the point, and just low tide, I mean, just a matter of minutes, we'd get our limit, come back, and cut these big fat steaks and just fry them with a lot of cheese and breadcrumbs. Oh man, they were just delicious. Yeah. It's it's gone. It's too bad.
Sea otters love abalone.
Yeah. And how many pounds can they eat in a day?
You know, we had a problem in our farm a couple years ago where an abalone hungry otter broke in and ate about $800 worth of abalone in 40 minutes.
Did you hear that? 840 minutes. Now, has anyone ever eaten sea otter? It must taste like abalone.
It tastes very, very, very good.
I bet it must taste like abalone.
John, the sea otter is an endangered species.
I know that. I'm only kidding.
I'm only kidding. Never eat a sea otter.
Sea otters are very important to us in Monterey. People love them. The children love them. I'm only kidding about that, folks. I take it back.
But they do love abalone, and they eat 35% of their body weight every day.
God bless them.
Yeah, so they're big eaters, and they enjoy abalone the best.
They're really a beautiful little animal that we have here. I mean, you can sit in our restaurants just right in front of our eyes. Folks, when we come back, we're going to start cooking abalone.
Oh, boy.
Folks, let me show you how to clean an abalone. Well, Joe, you're the expert. I've been doing these.
Yeah.
Explain. Talk me through it.
What we do is we eat the large foot. That's a mussel, and we just put the knife inside, alongside the shell, and then we use the knife to pluck it right out. So it pops right out, and then we usually leave the gut right in the shell, and they have a little tongue called a radula, and we cut that tongue right out as well. And then we usually wash them off. And
I think I pulled the radula out.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little V cut there for that radula.
Okay.
You can show them. And,
let me show you how we do that. See this? This is actually I pulled the mouth out, right?
Yeah, the whole mouth. Yeah, mouth and the tongue.
Okay, so you cut here and you cut here. Mm-hmm. You see? There it is.
Ready to go.
Now this.
We wash those off.
Okay.
And give them a little bit of a whack.
Okay.
With a hammer, and they're going to be fine.
Okay, now I'll do 4. I think 4 should. Well, maybe we should do about 6.
Got a hungry crew here.
Yeah,
today?
everybody's going to want to taste this.
When they want abalone.
How many guys like abalone here?
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to do 6, John?
Yeah, let's do 6. I've got my tenderizing method.
You've got your exotic tenderizer.
It's very technical, folks. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's how many you got? 4 or 5?
Okay, this is number 5 right here.
One more. We'll do one more here.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, you know our show today, folks, is brought to us by Monterey Vineyards out in out in Gonzales, excuse me. Boy, I go back a long way with those folks. In fact, when Dick Peterson was the original owner and winemaker, and that was the first big plantings of making wine in Gonzales, was those folks, and they made some very interesting wines back then, and they're making even better wines now, let me tell you. Beautiful stuff.
Okay.
Okay, now, very technical. Tenderizing abalone. Now, in the old days, this almost looks like an old abalone mallet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I found this at the antique, you know that one down on Wave Street, that big building there?
Probably what it was, John.
You think so?
Yeah, it's been around. That one.
I mean, it's an old one.
Yeah.
And in the old days, they used to sit. Now they used to be mostly, I believe it was Japanese, on Fisherman's Wharf. They would be processing abalone, and they'd have these wooden benches. They sit on them, and there was a big wooden cleat in front of them, and they'd be there cutting these big steaks and just pounding, boom, boom, boom. Right. My uncle was telling me about that. Okay, so to tenderize these, the beauty of the cultivated ones is that they're not as tough as the wild ones.
They're younger. Because they're younger, they're not as tough. You know, what we eat generally is the muscle of foot. And so when they're young like this, give it a whack.
Okay. Now this works. You know, this is this is a solution to many problems today. But you know, you gotta give it a good one. Now you gotta hear it. It's gotta. Okay. You see when it gives? Mm-hmm. That's when it's done.
Yeah, perfect. Two whacks for this size. It looks like.
Okay. I'd like to do that. Maybe one more. Whoop. That was a good one. See? Oh. Now I think
they're slippery.
when I was doing this with Julia, we fixed them for Julia one time. Boy, one of those things shot out. It went about 20 feet.
I saw that show, John. That was a great show. That was a great show.
That was a lot of fun. Whoops. We lost one. Okay.
Okay.
That goes there. Now this one, I was thinking about, boy, this is going to be good. I made this, you've ever heard of another recipe of barbecued abalone?
Only the one that you told me last year that you
Okay,
did.
yeah.
You had some people here from Japan that you concocted a recipe for them.
We did that, and I think it's one of the best ways I've had it.
Yeah.
Although, you know, the old standard is pretty hard to beat. But you know what I think it's best made with the big steaks. They gotta be.
They're nice.
They
That's
gotta be
nice
thick,
too.
though. You know.
What John's talking about is the traditional recipe. Put a little flour with salt and pepper, and then you put it in an egg wash,
And then
a little breadcrumb, maybe some garlic.
Yep.
Saute it 30 seconds on each side.
In butter.
In butter.
In
Blackened
butter.
Yeah.
Gotta have
a
it.
little bit of olive oil.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue cooking our beautiful abalone. We've got about $400 worth here. Okay, folks. Now, Joe, this is what came to me. Just a little bit of sesame oil. Whoops. Then some fresh ginger. Chop it like this.
Boy, that's good.
I mean,
You know, John, abalone are very low in fat.
ooh,
3.5 ounce servings, about 60 calories.
wow.
No cholesterol, and a delicious food and nutritious too. Good
Now,
for you.
you're going to talk to us about the sex life of an abalone.
Sex life of an
I
abalone.
mean, nowadays, anything's okay on TV about, we know, nothing is sacred anymore. Let's talk about the sex life of an abalone. Go ahead.
Okay, the way the sex life of an abalone works is that the abalone's, the holes in the shell, the female releases the eggs through these holes in the shell, and the male releases the sperm into the water. And then it floats around, and if it unites in the water, it becomes a larval stage. And that larval stage floats around for about a week, and then it settles. And when they settle, then they begin to grow, and after about 6 months, you can see a little abalone shell growing. After about a year, you get about 1 inch long shell. So a female can release 6 to 7 million eggs at a time.
Whee!
And so if the male sperm comes in contact with those eggs, they're all fertilized and they float around. They're a big part of the food chain. Everybody likes to eat them. In nature, probably 1/10 of 1% survive.
1/10 of 1%.
Yeah,
My gosh.
because people eat them. But when you farm them and you have a nursery where you grow them, they all survive. So it's a much better deal.
So you buy your seed from a nursery, I guess,
yeah,
right?
we buy our seeds from nurseries. There are about 6 in California now, so we're able to shop around a little bit and pick the best and get the best price.
Okay, very interesting. So what I've done, sesame oil, sake, ginger, garlic, and we're just going to let that marinate. I would say no more than, I don't know, maybe a half an hour. Okay, so let's pretend that was a half an hour. And we get our grill going. And then Mario, if I could have a small pan. We're going to get the sauce going now. Now this is another, well, I think I want my garlic another way. Let's see, a little bigger. All right. Now what we're gonna do, for some reason, this just sounds good. Now I just chopped about 3 cloves of garlic, and into that I'm gonna put some cream.
Little good olive oil in there, John?
No, we used I used the vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil?
We don't want it to taste, because we're gonna this is gonna have a flavor of the sesame oil.
Oh.
Okay, and a little wasabi. Now wasabi is a mustard that you get in sushi bars, folks. Makes a great sauce. If you had me a whip there, it'd be great.
Okay.
And we want this to reduce a little bit. This is getting hot. Oh, I found one here. Oh, that's better size. It's my little whip.
Okay.
Now wasabi is very strong, and you got to taste it. Whew.
Put a little more in.
A little bit more. we want it to taste good. I mean, we really want that wasabi. And we're going to put a nice chunk of ginger in here too, into the sauce. See, we'll remove this after. Okay. That, a little soy. And a little rice wine. Okay. And we stir that up. All right, this is getting nice and hot. Yeah, this just really sounds like a good, for some reason, I hope I'm right, Joe.
Oh, John. You put all the right ingredients in
I
there.
mean, it all has to. Maybe a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar,
That's
okay.
it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, this will thicken up. Be careful, use a, yeah, go ahead. See, it's okay to do that here, folks. It's my
boy.
kitchen, I can do whatever I want.
Boy, that is good.
I'm gonna get 4 letters. People talk, get your stinking fingers. My kitchen, I do what I want.
How many pinches of wasabi did we put in there?
Is it hot?
There you go. No, just right. Just perfect.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, got 7. Okay, that's that. We're gonna watch that very closely. I'm gonna put just a, I'm gonna put just a pinch of a little sesame oil in there.
And that's thickening up
That's
really
perfect.
nice.
Now we need a little lemon. That'll make the, but we're gonna put the lemon here. Okay, let's flip those.
Okay.
See that? It's gonna mark them up beautifully. And we don't want to cook these too much.
No, that's the thing about abalone. You gotta just cook it 30 seconds on each side or so.
Okay, let's see what we got here, folks. Okay, I think they're done, Joe.
Okay, John, where are you?
Put them right here on the cutting board.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Go ahead.
All right.
You know something? I hate to even put the sauce on it.
I know, but
Go ahead.
Let me give it a whirl.
I think we got something here, don't you?
John, I've eaten a lot of abalone, but I've never tasted them that good. That's delicious.
Isn't that good? Here.
That's the way to go.
It's good stuff, folks. Now, not everybody can eat abalone. A lot of people are allergic to abalone, and I bet a lot of people here are probably allergic. So I want to warn you guys, maybe you shouldn't be tasting this.
I don't know anyone who's that allergic to abalone.
I'm only kidding, because these guys are going to hit this plate like you won't believe.
I know, I better grab one more
Go
piece.
ahead.
Yeah,
You know what?
Where it goes.
It's absolutely delicious.
Fabulous recipe.
Incredible. I think I'll start doing this one at the restaurant.
Garlic, ginger, sesame oil. Delicious.
The ginger, the garlic, and shallot. I will. Boy, I don't know. You know what? I don't think I want to even put that sauce on there, Joe.
Let's put it on the side, John, so we can try it.
Okay, folks, here's the sauce. You know what? I want you to experience this abalone without the sauce because it is too good by itself. I want to thank Joe Cavanaugh for coming.
The
Joe,
Monterey Abalone Company.
Monterey Abalone Company. Don't forget, eat abalone. It's good for your health, good for your sex life. Also, don't forget to drink nice Monterey County wines. Monterey Vineyards, of course, been there a long time. Very, very good. We're going to enjoy this abalone now, folks. See you next time.